Hey guys and gals, welcome to another episode of the Man Talks podcast, where we are dedicated to building better men through conversation, connection, and community. My name is Roger Nairn.
And I'm Connor Beaton. This podcast brings together the best thought leaders, teachers, and extraordinary individuals to teach and mentor you on how to be a top performer in life, love, and business.
So let's bring on today's guest, Dr. Cory Holly. You know, for the guys out there, first saw Cory speak recently at an event here in Vancouver called the Superhuman Summit, which is put on by a couple friends of the podcast, the Coppin brothers and Social Concierge and Jordan Coleman. And what struck us about Dr. Holly's talk was that he said something that totally shook me to my core, and that is that there's this concept of living hard and dying soft. And the reality is that men in particular are typically living soft and dying hard. And Cory, I'm wondering if you can kind of share with us what you meant by that.
Well, most people today, and I'll refer to them as a collective, and I'm a world traveler, so when I say most people, I have to sort of confine it to North America because we don't live like other people on the other side. 3 billion people on the planet live without electricity, and that to me is a tough life, comparatively speaking. So here we've got a soft, cushy life, and it seems as if, at least through observation, that most people are dedicated to doing anything except physical work. And so they drive instead of walk. And they're unaware of the multiple benefits of walking, essentially that relate to the brain and heart and function. But that's just one of many examples. Living hard, I borrow from the athletic model because my paradigm is that life is a sport and we're all athletes engaged in it. It's in our DNA. I use the evolutionary model. If you look at that model and sort of come up with an idea of what it would be like to live without all of the labor-saving devices, we evolved over time with the absolute essential need to acquire food. And the only way that we could do that was through physical expenditure of energy and using our cunning and our brain, which is our greatest weapon and strength. So my idea would be to simulate the values associated with our former state, which are significantly superior to what we have today physically. Physically, we're losing our muscle, we're losing our physical capacity to perform. And like the athlete, because I'm a hammer thrower, and I've been an athlete all of my life. I've never not been an athlete. I know what it takes to show up, to do the work, to do the grunt work behind the scenes. And in my discussion, I was talking about how important that is. If health is your primary goal, if you have a health consciousness and you realize its significance, answer this question. Do you want to be sick? Do you want to live in misery and pain? Do you want to be obese and inflamed? No, obviously not. So what does it take not to do that? Well, what does it take for an athlete to get really good at the sport? He just shows up and plays the game? No, that's part of it, but it's insignificant compared to the amount of practice time and effort and energy that it takes to become excellent in the sport. Living hard means that you incorporate an element of toughness in your life on a physical level. And today we can control it, like we can go to the gym for an hour and generate a significant amount of value because we have science, we have exercise physiology, we understand the body, the framework, the internal chemistry, how bodies respond to stress. We have the advantage of knowledge. And then what we do is condense this into a paradigm like the Vulcans. Spock happens to be one of my fantasy heroes, a man of logic. Vulcans also mastered athletic excellence. They had to because 100% devotion to the mind, sitting in a chair without any movement, will rot the body. That's how we're designed, whether you like it or not. So if you ignore entropy, radiation, oxidation, if you ignore the effects of gravity, if you understand what these are and you want to be alive and well for your entire life and have a fantastic health span and be productive to the day that you terminate, then incorporate this level of toughness, this physical level of training and exercise and sport so that you don't die a slow, miserable death. I could have asked how many people in the audience at the Superhuman discussion, how many of you want to end up in a nursing home in diapers? And of course, nobody would put their hand up. But statistically, 80% of everyone in that room will end up that way. And that's what the statistics and the math reveals. So I work in a field where people at my age have lost it. They have addictions. They say they can't control themselves because they don't realize their own power, but they're physically inept. They haven't trained, worked out. They've lost the capacity to perform. And of course, along with that comes dis-ease, diabetes, obesity, depression, insomnia, cancer, heart disease. It's all built in to this model of softness.